Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a review. I promised you guys on Snapchat yesterday, if you don't follow me there, please do. My handle will be on the screen here somewhere. I'm sorry if you can hear like a little bell jingling. My little cat is like roaming around the floor and she's making an awful lot of noise, aren't you? She doesn't have a name yet, but we hope to name her quite soon. I don't know what to call her. She's just so lovable. Look at her little face. So today's video is going to be a review video. I asked you guys if you would like to see a review of the new Kylie Jenner Burgundy palette. And a lot of you guys on Snapchat said you would like to see this. This is what the palette looks like. You get your standard 9 eyeshadows, very similar to the bronze palette. I will go into a little bit more detail about that in a moment, but I'm just going to talk about the actual palette itself. This is Kylie's second palette she released. Released it early in October. I only got my hands on it the second time it was released. And it was actually easy enough to get hold of. I was surprised because generally Kylie's new products sell out like there's no tomorrow. The first round, I will say, it went like lightning. The second time it was a little bit easier to get. I don't think it sold out for like 2 hours. I was a bit skeptical about picking up this palette. I haven't looked at any reviews, like none. I've been avoiding them because I knew I was going to get this palette because, hello, I have to do a review for you guys. Bought it out of my own money, all that jazz. Nobody's paying me to say anything about this palette. So the review on this is obviously going to be my own opinion. And the thing I was a little bit worried about was the bronze palette was good. Yes, I did enjoy the bronze palette, but I just didn't feel like the shadows were as pigmented as they possibly could be, and that kind of was a little bit of a downer for me. But I am very surprised with this palette. Now I'm going to go into a little bit of swatching like I did, and the tutorial will be at the end, but I will just say straight off the bat, the matte shades, which are always like difficult finishes in my opinion to try and get a good formula of them because they can be quite powdery or chalky, but the matte shades in this are perfection. And the shimmery shades like this gold here, this kind of like burgundy, which is like a cranberry shade over here, and this kind of bronzy shade down here, they are just incredibly buttery and smooth on the eyes. This is 100% like better than the bronze palette for the formulation and the blendability. It blends so much better. They are so more pigmented. It's not even a word. Am I just adding words? Yeah, probably. These shades in this are a lot more pigmented than the bronze palette. They're easier to blend. I loved the bronze palette. You guys saw my review on that. I will link it down below if you just want more information on it. And I did really enjoy the bronze palette, but I just think that this is a much more superior palette. So you get your 9 shades, as you can see, and they're all labeled on the back just like with the bronze palette. So you've got Naked, Beach and Penny, LA, Burgundy, Dubai, Almond, New York and Brick. I think I did that right. They're like all like they're backwards on the back of it. The only thing that I don't like about this palette is these 2 shades at the bottom. They are very similar. Although beautiful, they are so close. A black would have been a much more welcomed color in this palette. Now I know there was a black in the bronze palette, so I suppose you can't expect her to put another black in this palette, but that's the only kind of complaint. There's no mirror in it. Again, standard like the last palette. You can depot these. You can depot these and you could put them into a palette that has a mirror on it. To be honest, it doesn't really bother me in the slightest that there's no mirror. The packaging is cardboard, just like the bronze palette, and you get the little dripping eyes. This time they have more burgundy and kind of copper shades going through it than the bronze palette. The packaging is beautiful, really handy, really easy to travel with. So I'm going to do some live swatching on my arm just to show you exactly what the pigmentation is like. So I'm going to go across this way. So that is Naked, that's Beach, then we've got Penny, that's LA, look at that, that is sensational. Burgundy, I've got Dubai, again extremely pigmented, that's Brick, New York, and Almond there at the bottom. You can see they're quite pigmented. The thing I noticed that was very different from these to the bronze palette is there's no choppiness with them. There is no powderiness. There's no huge amount of fallout, which I did find from the bronze palette. The bronze palette is a lovely palette. Again, I'm not bashing the bronze palette, but it's just not as pigmented from this. Cosmetic brands learn the more products they bring out, they learn, you know, what works and what doesn't. So I'm glad to see that this is kind of a different formulation from the last one, and they are a lot lot more pigmented, no powderiness, they're easy to blend, they look amazing on the eyes. I'm highly impressed with this, and I definitely think this one is worth the money versus the bronze palette, which I found was kind of similar to an awful lot of palettes that are around. Like I said, you could get most of the shades from the Morphe 35O palette, which is like €24 on Beauty Bay, which I'll link that down below if you're interested. I just think that the colours in this are a little bit more unique. I think that there's a good mix of matte versus shimmery shades with a more satin finishes. They're not quite shimmery. I think it is one of my favourite palettes that I've gotten in a while. It does kind of remind me of the Renaissance palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. I really like this palette. I was kind of going in a bit blind because I obviously had looked at no reviews, and I was very skeptical as well because the bronze palette was good and I did use it quite a lot, but it wasn't my favourite formulation of shadows, so I highly recommend this one. I think it is beautiful. It was $54, I believe. I think 54, and I think post and packaging was like $14.95 to Ireland. That is the only thing. You are buying it from the American side, so if you want to know it in your currency, you'll have to use like EX converter or something like that. That is my 2 cents on the new Kylie palette. Highly recommend it. I think if you don't have any of Kylie's products and you want to try something, I would go with that if you're looking for an eyeshadow palette. I think it is beautiful. Love the eyeshadows. I love the eye look that I got from it. I love everything about it. I think it is a beautiful palette. So yeah, I have nothing more to say in it. If you want to see the tutorial, let's head on into that, and I will talk to you all in my next video. Don't forget to follow my social media handles if you aren't already. I would love for you to come and talk to me on Snapchat or Instagram or Twitter or wherever you feel like following me, and I will talk to you guys in my next video. Mwah! Bye! To start off this look, I'm just going to apply some tape because I want to create a crisp line, and then priming my eyelids with Paint Early Paint Pot from MAC. Taking the Burgundy palette, I'm going to go in with the shade Beach and just apply that through my crease with this Morphe big fluffy brush, which I'll write down the name of that brush below. This is just going to act as a transition for every other shade to sit on top of. Next I'm going to take Almond, and then I'm going to place that with a really tiny detail brush just in the outer V of the eye, just keeping it below the transition shade, and then bringing it into the inner corner of the eye and connecting it there just in the crease. You can see exactly what I'm doing. I'm just kind of building up that shadow before I blend it all out to remove any harsh lines. And then I'm going to go in with the middle shade Burgundy. I'm just going to place that in the outer V and the inner corner, just in the exact same position as I placed Almond, just building it up. The reason why I put Almond down first was to intensify that Burgundy shade. Then taking LA on a flat shader brush and placing that into the center of my eye. This is described as a copper shade, but I think it's more of a gold. This, in my opinion, is the perfect shade for a spotlight eye. And then going to take a blending brush just to blend out any harsh lines before taking Naked and placing that in the inner corner of my eye and underneath my brow bone just to highlight those areas. I'm taking Wet n Wild Mega Liner. I'm just going to line my eyes. I'm leaving the tape on to do this just to create a big wing. I'm going to bring that liquid liner right into the inner portion of my eye. I'm taking the Essence eyebrow pencil, and this is in the shade number 2, and I'm just going to fill in my eyebrows with this and blending it out with the brush on the other end before removing the tape, and then you're left with a really crisp line. I'm taking my L'Oreal Voluminous mascara and applying that to my lashes before going in with Burgundy on the lower lash line and placing it on the outer and inner portion of the eye and placing LA into the center. I'm going to apply some mascara on my lower lash line and then place some gel liner into the waterline before applying these Glam & Co lashes in the design Jasmine, and these are just beautiful. I think they just finished off the whole eye look. So that is the completed look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching the review. I will talk to you all in my next video. I love you guys. Bye!